Hello divers, this is Chris with Dive Zone Scuba for another technical diving tips and techniques video. In this video we will be talking about not just packing dive gear for traveling, we will be talking about how to travel with a backplate and wing. In the last several videos, there's been a bit of a contrast problem, so I've made some adjustments, and we'll see if this works out any better. All right, so what we're talking about in this video is traveling with a plate and a wing, and of course, there are many ways of doing this. You can have a duffel bag or a piece of dive-specific gear to transport your gear. But what we're looking at in this video is specifically traveling with a plate and wing and wanting to try to take as much gear with you on board the plane as carry-on luggage. So what we're looking at is doing some modifications to primarily a piece of luggage in order to do this. So obviously there are many different pieces of luggage to do this, but there are only certain pieces that are going to work well. This is kind of a generic duffel bag, and it has pockets all over it. But what makes this particular duffel bag unique is the bottom. And so with this particular duffel bag, it normally comes with a piece of webbing going down this side and a piece of webbing going down this side. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a plate and we're going to modify the bag primarily, although I did modify the plate in this case. And we're going to do that so that we can actually affix the duffel bag here to the plate to save us space on having to pack our plate and our harness. Alright, so in the first iteration of this, I thought I could get away with just putting two grommets here and here and using that in the conventional manner of the 11-inch spacing for a back plate and a wing, and I thought maybe I could take some straps and put it around the plate so that the duffel bag would be mounted to it. But then I thought that since the webbing is already there in this particular model duffel bag, what I could do is I could actually affix it to the plate. So I put in 4 more additional grommets in here, and have carriage bolts underneath here with a nut on the inside. And so you can do this 2 different ways. At the time I was working with plastic plates. That was my favorite plate that I had, and what I had was I had a dive right plate like this, and the plate was very good because whenever I wanted to experiment with the plate, it was plastic, so it was very easy to make holes. And as you can see, I've made many holes in this plate. So I use this plate as the prototype for what we're going to be doing today. And as you see, I have drilled some additional non-standard location holes here and here, and then also here and here. So I use those bolt holes to do this system. But it's not really necessary to do that, and particularly the plastic plate no longer exists. The extruder that made these for Dive Right went out of business, and the last time I talked to them about this, they were trying to find another extruder. They have the molds. They were able to rescue the molds, but they have no extruder. So there's no idea or no plan on actually getting them back into production. Alright, so I use this particular plastic plate for doing this prototype thing, but if you had a conventional plate that would really work just as well. So most metal plates have a number of different holes in them. So you have a bolt hole here, a bolt hole here, and then you have additional bolt holes here and here. So there's a good chance that your spacing on your plate will be good enough to be able to use the webbing, using the grommet and the webbing, because you're going to need that. You must have the webbing in order to make this sufficiently robust. Alright, so there are a variety of plates that you could use. Here's another one. This one is this one's a dive right plate, and let's see if we could do that one. Okay, this one's a little bit more difficult. You might have to use that hole there and that hole there, or you could possibly offset it a little bit and use that slot here and that hole there. Or if you really wanted to, you could drill another hole yourself, or even possibly use that part of the hole. So the dive right, the spacing on the dive right, because it's missing the hole right there, is not quite as good as some of the others. A lot of the plates that come out of Taiwan will have an additional hole like that one right there. Specifically the IST plates, some of those will have those holes. So if you have the hole right there, which is used for the weight system, then you're going to have an easier time of it. All right, so let's go back to our plate, our original plate we have over here. And so these holes are not quite equidistant apart, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to very simply undo the bolts here. Open this up. And I'm going to take out the carriage bolts from here. I've actually got a thumb screw on here, although you could use a wing nut. I wouldn't try and use a regular nut. That would be a little bit difficult to use. And of course you have to have the proper length. Carriage bolt in order to do this. I might have to get another one. That one looks a little short. And then you take your plate, and I'm sure there'll be all kinds of comments about how you shouldn't have a padded harness and all that. Okay, so we're going to stick this in here like that, and the use of the carriage bolt prevents you from being poked in the back by the thumb screw or whatever you use. Okay, finally got it aligned. And then got another one here. Here's another one. Good, got a few threads on that one. And then the last one Okay, alright, so the way this works is you just use it as in place of a regular set of straps on the back, and you have your duffel bag on both sides, pinned on both sides by the bolts, and you can pack your wing in here. Of course, Dive Right suggests doing that. I don't think this is totally inflated, deflated, but you can pack your wing in here. You can pack your regulator bag in there, and so on. So there's lots of space. To pack things. In there. There's actually 4 regulators in here, a set of doubles, actually 3 regulators. There's a set of doubles and double regulators and some other stuff. You have plenty of places for your other stuff like your mask, and I've actually also squeezed in a pair of fins in here. So I've stuck everything in this size duffel bag except for a wetsuit, which I've put in another little carry-on bag. So I've taken this system on many trips around the Caribbean and also to the Middle East, and I have not once had any difficulty with a TSA agent or a security agent. The one thing that you might encounter, and you would encounter this with any luggage, is that some flights have more stringent carry-on weight limits, but the size of the duffel bag and the configuration makes it very easy to be able to flex it into, push it, stuff it into the little carry-on limitation box, and so you're pretty much guaranteed of being able to get on board the plane with all of your gear if that's something that you are interested in doing. Okay, if you have any questions, you can email us. This is Chris with Dive Zone Scuba.